It's my friends for me, because, y'all, it don't take that long to get naked. Drink.
Quilla, can you at least like that?
Where y'all at? What is that? Deja.
At least something.
Man, these people here.
The story of Shanquella Robinson has touched the heart and lives of many. Her trusting people she thought were friends and traveling to another country with them, only for them to come back to the States without her, and her losing her life has been a hard pill for many of us to swallow, and has many people questioning friendships and almost fearful to even travel at this point. I recently had a sit-down conversation with Shakeemah Smith, also known as the passport abuser. Her life was changed after being stranded and left in another country by people that she thought was friends, all because of female jealousy. She's been featured in Forbes, USA Today, Insider, and Essence because she is now a solo traveler. She has been to a total of 69 countries. 63 have been done solo. I now introduce you to Shakeemah Smith, the passport abuser.
Hi guys, my name is Keem, but I am known in the internet streets as the passport abuser. I am a female solo traveler of 63 countries.
Can you talk about the passport abuser? How did you come up with that name? Where did that name come from?
My mom called me the passport abuser because she said that I was never, ever in the United States. So she was like, oh, you just abusing your passport. You're a passport abuser. And I was like, Mom, that's it. That's my new name. So I went on Instagram and I changed my name to the passport abuser.
Okay, so we were actually talking about the Shanquella Robinson story and how that just captivated everyone, the whole entire nation.
Right.
Shanquella was actually following you online on your Instagram page. Can you tell us a little bit about that or how you found out about that?
Yes, so I have 100,000 followers on Instagram already, like close to 100,000 followers. I have 10,000 clients from 14 different countries. So I already have an established brand for women who want to solo travel. And how I found out about the Shanquella Robinson story was my followers were sending it to me and they were like, wow, this same thing almost happened to you and this happened to her. So that's how I found out about the story, because I already have a brand and a community, and they were sending me the story in the private Facebook group and to my DMs directly. So that's how I found out about this tragedy.
Yeah. And so a lot of people don't know that it is safe to travel alone, and more than likely with Shanquella following you, that may have been something that she was wanting to do later on, or maybe even decided to follow you while she was on her trip because she knew things weren't going right. Can you talk a little bit about solo traveling? How did you start solo traveling?
Girl, pull up a chair, get some tea, do what you gotta do. So my story is kind of similar to Shanquella's story. And I think that because some people have been following my brand for so many years, they know my background story on how I got started with solo travel. So basically, I went on a trip with two people who I was friends with at that time for at least 10 years. I had known them for quite some time. Two girls. We'll call one Ebony and one Erica, which I'm just making up names. I actually have a friend named Ebony and Erica. But I went on vacation with two friends, and it was my birthday. We were in Amsterdam, and I said to my girlfriend, Ebony, I said, Ebony said, yeah, Derek wants to get back together. And he said that if I buy him a plane ticket to Egypt and some $5,000 rims for his BMW, that he thinks that maybe we could discuss getting back together.
Okay.
And I told Ebony, like I'm just putting in a name. I told Ebony in Amsterdam, we were at the Bulldog where Snoop Dogg goes to smoke, we were all there. And I said, it's your vagina. Do what you want with it, but don't give him no money. So if you still want to be with him, be with him. But I don't feel like you should be paying a man to stay around. Right. Like you don't reward bad behavior. If you got money to blow it on your man if he acting right, but he can't break up with you and have you move out of his place in the middle of the night that you paid for that condo. And then he emails you back saying, well, if you buy me some rims, we could get back together. Like, stop spending your money. Even if you spend your heart, don't spend your money. Mm-hmm. And she was quiet for the rest of the evening. So the second girl who was with us, let's say her name is Erica, I'm just making up a name.
And we're protecting their names because of who they are. We don't want to, take their identity.
I wouldn't say their real names online. But yeah, so Ebony was quiet for the rest of the evening because I said something to her about Derek that she didn't like. But I was cool. I was like, look, girl, we've been friends for 10 years. It ain't nothing that a little hold on, what can't fix. Okay. So we're good. I definitely wasn't thinking that it was gonna be something later on that night or the next day. So for the rest of the night, the second girl, Erica, she was just trying to talk to me and talk to Ebony, but I guess she could tell that it was kind of awkward, So I just kept talking to Erica for the rest of the night because clearly Ebony has an issue with me, but she's just being very quiet, So I didn't think anything of it. So we get back to the hotel at the end of the night, and Ebony, the one that I told her how I felt about Derek, she said to Erica, "Can you stay downstairs with me and smoke a cigarette? I don't smoke cigarettes."
Okay.
So they were downstairs talking. I went upstairs and went to sleep. So the next morning is my birthday in Amsterdam. Mind you, we've been in Amsterdam for 7 days already. So we've already been in Amsterdam. Before we were in Amsterdam, we were in Paris for 5 days. So it's my birthday. We on like a little mini world tour. Everything was cool. The 5 days we were in Paris, everything was cool. We get to Amsterdam. We in Amsterdam for 7 days. Soon as Derek emailing her, asking for money. And I'm like, nah, peep game, sis. For the rest of the night, she's like, well, I'm going to stay downstairs and smoke a cigarette. I'm like, okay, cool. The next morning is my birthday. I wake up the next morning. I call my mom and I'm like, let me tell you what happened with Erica, with Ebony last night. Like, I told her how I felt about Derek using her and stopped sending this man money. And she didn't speak to me for the rest of the night. And her and Erica was outside smoking a cigarette all night. I didn't even see them before I went to sleep. So my mother, like, it's okay. Happy birthday. Where are the girls now?
Exactly.
I said, I don't hear them. They must be downstairs having breakfast. That's what I thought. Like when I woke up, they weren't there. I'm like, they must be downstairs having breakfast. So I got up, I got in the shower, I did my makeup, and I called my mom and I was like, yo, they still not upstairs yet. That's so weird. And so she was like, well, go in a room. So our hotel rooms were connecting. We got a connecting hotel room. And I went in their room and none of their bags was there. I didn't see their makeup there or nothing. As I'm on the phone with my mother, the hotel is calling me from downstairs. And they're like, yeah, it looks like somebody is still in this room. The girls checked out of this room last night. What?
Right.
Are you serious?
Right.
They checked out of the room last night when I was up here sleeping in it, dog. Are you serious? And so I'm like, what are you talking about? And so I immediately called Erica. Now, remember, Ebony is still mad about what I said about Derek. So I know I'm not going to call Ebony.
Right.
So I called Erica. I'm like, yo, where y'all at? And Erica's like, oh, we left last night. I spoke to Ebony. Ebony told me that you said something about my kids. I said, hold on. We've been together for 12 days. And because I told Ebony to stop sending this dude money, now all of a sudden, I've been talking about you and your kids. Are you crazy? Right. She was like, yeah, but we left last night. You said that my kids are dirty. I was like, I never said anything about your kids, but it's really weird how we've been together for 12 days. And the minute I tell Ebony how I feel about Derek after she's been emotionally abused by him and manipulated by him for 5 years, I finally open up and say how I feel. So just stop sending him money. Even if you want to be in a relationship, that's cool, but your bank account don't need to be suffered. You ain't gonna be broke and brokenhearted, okay? One or the other. Friends be one or the other. And so from there, I was just like, you know what? If she told you that I said something about your kids, and instead of you waking me up in the middle of the night saying, hold on, she mad about Derek, but let's communicate, because she wants to leave, and now she's telling me that you're talking about my kids, which is making me want to leave. Tell me what's good here. So they never even woke me up in the middle of the night. They never woke me up in the middle of the night to say, hey, we thinking about leaving. I didn't even wake up to a text message like, happy birthday. I'm mad about what you said. Erica's with me. Like, if I wouldn't have woken up on my birthday and got out the shower like, dang, I'm done with makeup. Like, where are they? Like,
right.
They didn't even leave me a Dear John letter that they were leaving. And so I spent my birthday crying in a hotel room. And to be honest, I chickened out. I had never been on a solo trip before. I had never expected to go on this trip and be left. So I cried and I called my mom and I'm like, what should I do? And she was like, let's just get you on the next plane. I didn't even think about, oh girl, just stay here, enjoy your birthday. I'm like, no, I'm here by myself. I don't know what to do by myself. So I chickened out. And so for all the hundreds of thousands of women who already follow me and are on my email list and a part of my community and stuff like that, and they solo travel, when the Shanquella Robinson story broke, they were sending it to me. So that was how I found out about it, because they were like, this same thing happened to you almost, so thank God it wasn't fatal. Thank God, like, one of them didn't say, you know what, wake her up. You hold the door. I got a knife. Let's go. Like, thank God my story didn't end like that. But they just left in the middle of the night, packed their stuff, and checked out of the room.
Mm-hmm.
So if they would have woke me up in the middle of the night at that hotel in Amsterdam, like, I don't know if they told someone that someone was up here, but they called on the room phone. They were like, someone is still here. We got word that someone is still here. And I was like, right. Yes, I'm still here. Like, what are you talking about? Like, so it all just transpired on the morning of my birthday in Amsterdam. And that was how I was like, wow, I'm thinking we friends for 10 years. And as soon as I say something about your nigga, it's like, I'm leaving you on this trip and I'm going to make her feel like we're against you. Like, girls just basically ganging up on you on vacation. And these were women that I had traveled with before several times. And so, like, basically after that situation, what I learned is never tell my friends how I feel about their man.
Okay.
Never. Even if they ask me like, well, so, do you think that, I should pay for Derek rims? I'm like, girl, you know what? Honestly, I have so much stuff going on right now. Whatever you do, like, I'm avoiding it because it made me worried about, can I trust women enough to be honest with them about personal things that us as women go through? Like, my friends are my soulmates, because these dudes, they're gonna let you down every time. Sometimes, not all the time, because I'm engaged, so you'll meet a good guy, but back then in my 20s and early 30s, I mean, I thought the guy was dead and his mom just hadn't been born. Like, he ain't coming. Right. So of course you love your girlfriends, you cherish your girlfriends so much. So I started solo traveling after that. I was like, yo, I'm not traveling with girls no more. They gang up. They say one wrong thing and it's like a whole issue. Like, I don't trust to be around other girls, or like, if I'm alone with them, well, what's going to happen? So I felt like it was safer to be traveling by myself. And from there on, I solo traveled. I ended up going back to New Jersey. I chickened out, went home crying. 8 months later, I got the strength to take my first solo trip to Paris. Country number 1 turned into country 63 after that. And now I'm good. But that was how I found out about the Shanquella story, because people were messaging me saying, hey, this is kind of like what happened to you.
Yeah. Yeah. And luckily your situation did turn out differently. I just had a quick question. While you were on the trip with them, did you ever feel at any point they would do anything like that? Like, did you ever get
I had traveled with them places before.
Okay.
Well, this was not our first trip together. Like I said, you're talking about a nearly 10-year friendship. So I didn't think that, it would be like that. You get what I'm saying? This girl, Ebony, she was with a guy named Derek. She lived in Miami. Derek lived in Houston. And she moved to Houston to be with Derek. And Derek came home one night and was like, you got to get out with your dogs tomorrow. But she had gave Derek like $20,000 for the condo in Houston to buy. So she had paid for the condo. So basically she moved back to Miami and was like, okay, I'm broke up with Derek. We done. Then she moved back in with Derek a year later. But Hurricane Irma came. And when Hurricane Irma came, Derek said, you can go to Atlanta with my mother and I'm going to stay behind. And I said to Ebony, I said to Ebony, I said, the only thing that would make a man stay in his city during a whole natural disaster when everybody's evacuating, even his mama, is that's just my opinion. Like, the world is falling around you. You don't live in a house in Houston that you need to stay behind and board the roof. Like, just fix it up.
Right.
You live in a condo that you bought in Houston on the 22nd floor. So why are you staying behind in this natural disaster? You get what I'm saying? And the year before that, he came home in the middle of the night and was like, yo, you got to get out with your dogs tomorrow. So it was like he was constantly doing things that I felt was a little shady.
Mm-hmm.
But I was always there for my girl, you know what I mean? Because that's my girl. Like, she's the friend, not him. So, you know, whatever you want to do, that's your business, girlfriend. But so, you know, after Hurricane Irma, she went back to Miami. She was like, he hasn't even called me since I've been back. Like, I'm really done this time. I'm changing my number. I'm not giving him no more money. I'm not doing nothing. I'm done. That was after Hurricane Irma. So then my birthday rolls around and he sends her an email. Remember, she changed her number. So he sent her emails and he's like, yeah, you know, I was thinking that maybe we could discuss getting back together. I've always wanted to go to Egypt. If you could get me a flight to Egypt, we can go to Egypt and we can discuss getting back together. And I was like, girl, if you want to do what you want, that's your vagina. But baby, your wallet don't have nothing to do with your heart. Those two separate entities as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
Like, just don't give him anything. Even if you want to give him yourself, he doesn't deserve the flight and he don't deserve no rents. Like, you already paid for the condo and he kicking you out whenever he wants to.
Right.
So just stop giving so much of yourself. So I told her that the night before my birthday when we were at the Bulldog in Amsterdam. That was the night. The next morning I woke up, she had already checked out the hotel room, already told Erica that I've been talking about her kids. Mind you, we've all been together for 12 days. We've been on multiple trips. And you're going to poison another girl to make her feel like I've been talking about her because you don't like what I said about your man. Yeah. And when I called Erica, because, you know, Ebony's mad. So I'm not going to call Ebony when I'm looking for them. I'm going to call Erica. When I called Erica, I'm like, where are y'all? She's like, you was talking about my kids. This is what you said about me. And I was like, damn, Erica, you just going to turn on me without asking me questions? I know Ebony's mad at me, but you and I, like, you didn't even say anything to me. But she was friends with Ebony before me. So that's why Ebony could tell her something like, nah, don't go up there. Just trust me. Like, you get what I'm saying? So after that day, I blocked both of them on social and on my phone number. And we never, ever spoke again. That was in 2018. And I had been friends with them for 10 years and had been taking several trips with them. So when my followers were sending me the articles about Shanquella Robinson, like, this happened to you. Have you heard about this? I read the article and I was just like, yo, this is a tragedy. But the thing is, you girls be thinking that, oh, I'm not going to be safe if I'm by myself. Girl, your friends will turn out on you and you don't even know who your friends until
it's too late.
Popping, right? Like, you getting left on a trip by yourself in the middle of the night with no explanation and not even notice.
Yeah.
And you out the room. Like, how do I know that they wouldn't have woke me up in the middle of the night? Like, yo, you got to get out the room. And I'm like, oh, fumbling for credit cards, or I done gave, you know, Ebony the money and she put it on her credit card. I'm like, you know, it was just shocking how everything happened. So that is how I started my solo travel journey, because I had went through something very similar. So, yeah.
So what advice do you have for girls? Because I know I'm not really wanting to travel by myself. I want to be able to go out and have fun with my friends. I might want to drink. Someone may spike my drink. Like, what information can you give girls that are thinking about traveling by themselves, or girls that are kind of afraid to travel by themselves like me?
Yeah. So one of the first things that people say is like, how do you travel by yourself? Is it safe? And I always kind of gotta shift people's mindset about what they consider safe to be, because I moved out of the US 2 years ago. But in the United States, Black people can't go for a run. You can't have a real $20 bill, a real $20 bill. They're gonna say it's fake, and then they, you know, whatever. Black women be unarmed in their house and they getting murdered. Like, you can't go for a jog and go for a run. People think that you're stealing. They're going to hunt you down. You know, you can't be Black and be at the supermarket, or just be Black and be at a church service. Like, in America, it is so unsafe just to be Black that when people be like, it's so unsafe out there, I'm like, baby, you can't go to church. Your kids don't live past lunch. You can't be in your house unarmed. That's a fake warrant. What is your idea of what is safe, actually? You get what I'm saying? So I have to challenge people for that. And to be honest, I've been to 69 countries, but only 63 of them have been solo dolo. And I have to tell you, the United States is the most unsafe place. People like, what's the most unsafe country? I'm like, well, the United States, then Brazil, then India, in my opinion, right? So one thing that I would say that always works for me is, contact the U.S. Embassy, enroll in the Smart Traveler Enrollment Program. The Smart Traveler Enrollment Program is a free service for U.S. citizens where when you are traveling to every country, you can actually be in touch with the local U.S. Embassy before you get there and send them a copy of your itinerary before you get there. That when you are traveling as a female solo traveler, the U.S. Embassy knows who's your driver, which flight you were on, which hotel you staying at, which excursions you doing. They know every move that you're going to make, which restaurant you eating at. It would be kind of hard for you to go out of the country and somebody say that they never saw you again when the U.S. Embassy had a list of every single person, place, thing that you were going to be doing while you were there. And it really helps. Like I flew to Panama and I enrolled with the local U.S. Embassy before I went. The U.S. Embassy called me on March 16th and said, we have our last plane leaving. We are going to shut this country down in 23 hours. You need to report back to the airport. We're calling all people who enrolled with the U.S. Embassy before they got here. So because I enrolled with the local U.S. Embassy, when Panama was going to close their borders, they contacted all of the U.S. citizens that they had noticed that they were in their country.
Wow.
So it actually really helps. Like a lot of people like, how are you, traveling the world so safe, 63 countries solo, like, and you come back just fine every time. I'm like, I'm in contact with the U.S. Embassy before I even get there. And I have the information to the U.S. Embassy while I'm there. You get what I'm saying? If you enroll with the Smart Traveler Enrollment Program, the app starts to send you messages like, hey, they're rioting near Arc de Triomphe in Paris. Don't go over there. Like, so it's so amazing. And most women don't know about that. They just get scared and they be in their feelings, or their family be like, girl, you going to travel solo? My parents were like, okay, so are you really going to do this? My friends were like, oh, it seems kind of crazy. And I'm like, well, I just want to do it. I'm not going to wait on friends. I don't trust going nowhere with other girls. I'm by myself, and I'm not going to let them think, oh, see, we not friends with her no more. She can't go nowhere. Okay, sis, I'm a Taurus. I'm gonna go. Like I'm an Earth sign, so I'm doing what I want. Okay. So people get in their head thinking that, oh, it's safer if I travel with my friends or, whatever. That's actually not the case. You get what I'm saying? And people,
we obviously see that now.
People think that Shanquella Robinson's tragedy is far-fetched. It happened to me. The girl, Kanika Jenkins, she went to a hotel party. Now, she was a teenager, but she went to a hotel party with her friends, and suddenly she ends up in the freezer of the hotel dead. Nobody's seen nothing, but she's with her girls. You get what I'm saying? Like, you be thinking that these girls are friends until all of a sudden you looking too cute that day, or you got too much money, or you just seem too happy. Now these girls, they want to ride on you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you say the wrong thing, and it's like, girl, we've been on 10 other vacations besides this. I'm only telling you not to give Derek money. I'm not even telling you not to deal with Derek. You get what I'm saying? Like, just keep that in mind, sis. No problem. Like, you don't gotta leave me. Like, but it's all good. So I definitely would recommend Smart Traveler Enrollment Program. It is a free service for U.S. citizens.
That's exactly my next question. Is it free? Because that's the first thing people will ask. How much does it cost? So it's a free service.
It's free, absolutely free. Another tip that I would say, because let's see, biggest thing that come up for safety for women traveling solo is safety. That's the first thing. Second thing, a lot of women say like, oh, well, will I be able to get, have a good time? How will I meet friends? Will I be able to get pictures on my solo trips? Like, how do I make sure that it's epic? So here's the thing. I always discuss mindset before I give tips, because I like for people to change their perspective before I provide them information that's going to help them. So when it comes to, will I be bored on my first solo trip? Or, I always tell women, like, you were born by yourself. You're going to die by yourself, but you can't live by yourself. If you were meant to stay in the same place, you would be a tree, right? So we got the Maldives, we got Dubai, we got all these places, and you've been born by yourself. And when you die by yourself, you can't have nobody with you, but you need them to see the Burj Khalifa. Like, you need friends with you to go to the best water in Fiji. Like, are you kidding me? Like, so you need your friends to go with you to Bali to have a good time. But when you die, no one's going to be there. If you die in your sleep or die from a fall or whatever, those last minutes, you're going to be there. So your entry and your exit is by yourself. And you out here, like, you can't even. Now, I get it, right? Because you want to enjoy. Like, I get it. Like, socially, we're like, oh, we want our friends. Like, our friends make us happy, blah, 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 blah. But look, if all your friends is broke, or they got kids, or they married and they can't do stuff, I will be damned if I'm like, well, I guess I'm not going to see all 7 wonders because, Lakeisha can't get her time off.
Right.
And, Ebony can't, her man don't let her go. No, look, all right. I don't know how many moons I got left. I'm going to enjoy myself. So just don't be afraid to live. Like, there's so much world out there, and it ain't your fault if you got good credit and you got money and you actually want to be out here doing some living. Like, don't wait on your friends. Like, but I would say if you want to make very good, epic solo trips, get on Airbnb, and instead of selecting stays, select experiences.
Okay.
And then when you select experiences, you can do a cooking class. You can learn to speak Afrikaans like I did in South Africa. You can do a head wrapping class in Colombia. They have photo shoots where you can do a photo walk. People say, how do you get all these pictures by yourself? You're always solo. I'm like, I just go on Airbnb and I hire a photographer, or I go, I look up the hashtags on Instagram, Paris photographer, and then I'll get a photographer. So it's so much that you can do, or you can Google Instagrammable places in Paris. And then you'll find 10 different things that you can do in Paris by yourself. So you can totally go to another country and have an amazing time by yourself. So don't let your friends stop you.
Okay. What's the question that most of your followers ask you on Instagram as far as traveling alone? What's the biggest question they ask you?
A lot of people ask me, how can I afford it? They how can you afford to travel the world like this? And I'm like, girl, I put my flights on layaway. Like how my mama used to put my damn clothes on layaway. I put my flights on layaway. So I traveled the world. I got my first 20 passport stamps for under $100 each. Okay. And I show people how to do that in my course, but I actually just put flights on layaway. So if you want to travel the world for cheap, you can put flights on layaway. If you are worried about safety, get enrolled in the Smart Traveler Enrollment Program. Contact the U.S. Embassy. If you are worried about how will I go somewhere and have a great time, get on Viator, purchase the tours, or reach out to a hotel and say, hey, can you provide my tours? So that way, when I get in the shuttle is leaving from the hotel and going back to the hotel. So that way, everybody else in the van, I'm making friends with them around the hotel, So you might want to start that out. So yeah, it can totally be done. I've actually helped. This is how I actually got into Forbes. I've helped 10,000 men and women take their first solo trip. Wow. So somebody might be out there thinking damn, all my friends can't never go nowhere. How will I do this? I definitely have a course that can help them do this. Just like Shanquella, I had a tragedy on vacation with people that I thought that they was my friends, and they was willing to leave me for dead in the middle of the night without even allowing me to prepare for where I was going to stay at overnight, which I feel was extra malicious on top of them leaving me, because even if they wanted to leave me, they didn't send me a text or wake me up and say, we leaving you. I don't like what you said about Derek, and she told me this, whatever. We just want to leave. Even on top of that, they still didn't even say, just prepare and go look for another room before we check out. We'll give you an hour. So it was added malice, because they wanted me to be stranded in the middle of the night.
Right.
I'm in my room sleeping with no clothes on, and y'all done checked out of the room. So I just learned from there. If a friend ever asks me a question and a romantic about anything, I'm just gonna be I'm sorry. I always tell my friends, I'm like, well, that's your choice. I shut down, because I'm like, nah, this is not gonna be no beef with me, with no girls over something I said.
Right. Now, I know with Shanquella, a lot of people said that she kind of should have viewed the room when she walked in the room, and the girls kind of looked at her funny. Did you ever have a moment where they kind of looked at you a little, did you ever feel that way with them, or you just honestly thought you were there with your friends, you were good? Did you ever have that moment?
The only moment that I had was when we got back from the Bulldog, and Ebony said to Erica, can you stand out here with me and smoke a cigarette for a minute? And I was like, okay. So I felt like she wanted to say something to her about me, and she knew that I wouldn't stay downstairs to smoke a cigarette because I don't smoke them. So I felt like that was weird, because we've been together the whole time. And when have we ever been oh, well, we downstairs smoking a cigarette? But why did, I just felt that was weird. But I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think that, I felt like I had been so supportive of every time Derek dumped Ebony, why did you take it so hard when it wasn't that serious? But you know what? They left me in the middle of the night. It's cool because 8 months later, I got the strength to take my first solo trip by myself and do it. And I did it. And from there, my whole life changed. And, you know, because of that, I've been able to help 10,000 people take their first solo trip and master solo travel. So when I look back, I'm like, well, thank you for leaving me dead in the middle of the night in Amsterdam, without a hotel room, without housing, and without notice. Because if you wouldn't have did that, I wouldn't have been able to help so many other women and men start their own solo travel journey. So,
and I do want to congratulate you on everything that you've done, even being in Forbes, being in Essence, everything that you're doing. That's truly amazing. So although this situation could have turned out completely tragic, it did turn out as a blessing for you. And I just want to tell you congratulations.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit more about your business and how people can join? I know you didn't want to talk about that, but I do
not want to talk about that.
I don't want to let you go. I don't want to let you go without telling people how they can follow you and more about your course.
Okay, yeah. So guys, you can I have a 9-week course. Everything that it took me 63 countries to learn, I packaged it into a 9-week course. So that way any woman or man that wants to start their solo travel journey, they don't have to learn as they go like I did, because it's a hard road when you have to do that. So I don't want somebody to get to country 11 and be like, oh my God, why would I be standing at the ATM when I could have called Wells Fargo and got my money from them a week ahead of time, so that way I already had the money? Or, you know, just things that people don't even think about that I went through. So it's like, I packaged everything, 63 countries and like 8 years of knowledge into a 9-week course. I started my solo travel journey by accident. Like it was a tragedy, and then I learned as I went. So for all the other women that want to go, I wanted to make sure that you guys started country number 1 with the knowledge of already traveling to 63 countries versus having to learn as you go along. So it's a 9-week course. I am on Instagram. That is my handle, The Passport Abuser. You guys can reach out to me on Instagram. I have a free webinar. The link is in my bio. And I offer free tips. So you don't even have to buy anything. Like literally, I just want women to travel the world, and fellas too, because I have a handful of fellas. But I just want people to be able to travel the world, do it safely, do it confidently, and do it without draining their bank account.
Okay. All right. Well,
The Passport Abuser on Instagram. Link in my bio. The Passport Abuser on IG.
The link will be in the description as well of this video. So make sure you guys check her out. Thank you so much for talking with us today. You were wonderful. And I'm so happy that your tragedy didn't really turn out to be a tragedy, but more so a blessing to you. And you guys make sure to check out The Passport Abuser on Instagram.
All right.
Bye. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and hit that bell so you don't miss any of my new episodes.